I'm a sucker for Sunavalon, and every time we get the chance to see this deck, it really goes to show. And we got Dual Tower Alcatraz Timelords for you guys as well. Don't be like the 33% of you guys that have not smashed the living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so we can get to 103,000. I'm proud that we're trugging along here, honestly. It's been a real honor, everybody. So the first list that we're going to be looking at today is a splash of Thurians in my Sunavalon deck. Shucky darn. Of course, we've really looked at like cool ways to kind of try out the adventure package here. And one of the ones that I think I've really found some of the coolest interest in here is the Sunavalon deck, ladies and gentlemen, because, I mean, what? Your normal summon does nothing, so it doesn't hinder anything off of this. And you just, basically, you're good to go, the deck. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring. One copy of frickin' Cactus Bouncer. While another plant monster is on your field, neither player can special summon. As long as you see this card, you're good to go. We have one Ghost Ball in the Haunted Mansion, two copies of At Lone Fire, triple copies of Max C, one copy of Rose Whip, one Space Rock, one copy of Rose Girl, two copies of Sunseed Twin, one Regulux, two copies of Borea, one copy of Griffon Rydar, two copies of Water Enchantress, triple copies of the Genius Sunseed Loki, two copies of Called by the Grave, one Crossout, one Dracoback, one Faithful Avenger, one Forbidden Droplet, two Painful Decision, two Rite of Armesier, one copy of Sunvine Shrine, two copies of the Sunvine Sowing, one copy of the Thurian's Ring Saucer, two Ripple copies of Unexpected Die Yay Substarters. We have one Blessed Winds and two copies of Infinite Permanence here. Down here in the extra deck, we have two Thrasher, triple Healer, two copies of Malias, one copy of the Link 4, then of course, Yield Dryas's for days, one Begalancer, one Jasmine, two Jasmine, and we have one copy of the Marjon. Side deck here, we have one Lancia, triple Droll, one Effect Veiler, one Illegal Knight, one Nibiru, we have two Token Collectors, one Droplet, one Feather Duster, two Lightning Storms, one Twin Twisters, and one copy of Red Reboot here. Wrapping up, I would say, the best Sunavalon idea that I've seen in a hot second. Next up here, it's Timelords, oh my god, with Dual Tower Alcatraz. Now remember, this is a field spell. At the start of the battle phase, activate this effect. Each player can reveal one monster with their deck, except a monster with question mark attack. And if they do, banish those monsters face down. Then the player or players that revealed the monster with the highest attack can special summon one monster from the hand. If they do, it can attack directly. Once returned during the end phase, you can activate this effect. If this card is still on the field during the end phase of the next turn, destroy all cards on the field. Well, shucky me darn here. We got some 4K attackers in our deck here. We also got some Barbaros shenanigans here. I just feel like this is a cute little tech in Time Lords you can kind of mess around with and laugh at your opponent overall here. So, we have two copies of Beast King Barbaros. One, it's just a prank bro. Triple copies of Jizukuru. Triple copies of the King Beast Barbaros. One copy of Lazion the Time Lord. One copy of Medion. Then we have triple Mission, triple copies of Raphion, triple copies of Sandion, triple copies of the Time Maiden, two copies of Zaphion. Then we have triple Alcatraz, two Extra, one Terraforming, triple copies of the Empty Machine, one Infinity Machine. We have two Metaverse and triple Torrential Tribute here. And then we have triple Juggernaut Libby, triple copies of Gustav Max, triple copies of the Sky Palace, triple copies of the Utopic Dark Infinity, and triple copies of Super Dora the Explorer here. Wrapping up, an interesting take on Time Lords, ladies and gentlemen. I love cool ideas like this. You can kind of just pick up and go, oh, okay, we're going to try this today. Next up is Predaplan. So it was a relatively big OCG tournament, and we got to see some relatively huge results out of it, out of the past weekend here. And I think seeing that this deck has such a crazy high ceiling, like, don't underestimate being able to interact with the opponent's fields, being able to break these things down while, you know, using your sub Albaz engine here just to kind of do its thing. All right, like, this deck, it really is a crazy powerhouse to me in terms of what you can do. So we have two copies of Alubar, triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyspring, one Effect Veiler, two copies of Fallen of Albaz, triple Maxi, 2 copies of the Predapant Boko Feluca, 1 Biblisp, triple copies of the Cameroflagia 2 copies of Darling Cobra, 1 copy of Orthoscorpio, of course, right, value time. We have 1 Star Sailor Romarian, triple copies of Branded Fusion, triple copies of Branded Opening, 2 copies of Called by the Grave, the 1 Crosso Designator with the 1 Instant Fusion, triple copies of Pot of Prosperity, triple Preda Practice, 1 Preda Prime Fusion, 1 Super Poly, 1 Imperm, and 1 copy of Preda Planning. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Verti Anaconda, 1 copy of the Garden Rose Flora, 1 Trifoverdum. We have 2 copies of Dragostapelia, the 1 copy of Cameroflagia, 1 copy of the Ambulophiloides, 2 copies of Mirjade, the 1 Masquerade, the 1 Guardian Chimera, the 1 Brigand, and then we have triple copies of Albion here. Side deck here, we have triple Droll Knockbird, 2 Nibiru, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 copies Lightning Storm, 1 Super Poly, 1 Twin Twister, 2 Dimensional Barrier, 1 Imperial Order, and 1 Red Reboot, and 1 Vanity's Emptiness here. Wrapping up a interesting take, once again, like the power scaling here that you can really set up with a deck like this, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty crazy and powerful. All right, next up on our list of interesting things here is Adignister. Now, Adignister, to me, as a deck, definitely goes through some struggles, but this deck got 3rd place out of this major tournament, and I just want to say, like, that's impressive, ladies and gentlemen, especially when you look at like the powering results out of this here, and you still see that out of 200 plus duelist here, that an undisputed summon of a Towers really being able to play through hand traps just wins you a game, ladies and gentlemen. So this is just Cyverse Express deck, where we're gonna make the big guy and laugh at our opponent. So we have triple copies of a Chi Adignister, triple copies of Asher Blossom and Joyous Spring, 1 copy of Barururu, 1 Danmari, 1 copy of Doyon, or Doishin, 1 Doyon, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 copy of the Gachikiri Adignister, 1 Ghost Spell, 1 Hayari, triple copies of Maxi, triple copies of Picardi, triple copies of I Meet You, 1 copy of Idol Reborn, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossroad Designator, triple Sign Up Mining, 1 Fighting Spirit, 1 Forbidden Droplet, 2 Ignister Island, 1 Talents, triple Infinite Permanence, and 1 copy of Vandy's Emptiness here, wrapping up the main deck. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Update Jammer, 1 Transcode Talker, 1 The Arrival Adignister, 2 copies of Splash Mage, 1 Firewall Dragon, 1 Heat Soul, 1 copy of Dark Templar, 2 Dark Infants, you don't really need to play 3 of these, 1 Wit Kid, 2 Axis Machines, 1 Light Dragon, and 1 copy Wind Pegasus. Side deck here we have 1 DD Crow, 2 Droll Knockbirds, 1 Ghost Ogre, 2 copies of Nibiru, 1 Security Dragon, 1 Forbidden Droplet, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 1 Lightning Storm, 1 Twin Twisters, 2 Dimensional Bear, 1 Imperial Order, and 1 Red Reboot here, wrapping up an interesting take, once again, on what you can do in this metagame. And then last but not least here is Marincess, and we're sporting off an adventure package in this deck. I know a lot of Marincess players are like, no, I don't want to break away from like the standardized norm that you've already seen developing for this, but I gotta say it, ladies and gentlemen, get over it. All right, evolution comes with these decks; they have to adapt. So we have triple copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, 2 copies of Effect Veiler, 1 Ghost Bell with 1 Ghost Ogre, triple copies of Blue Tang, 2 copies of Pascalis, triple copies of Seahorse, triple copies of Spring and Girl. We have triple copies of Maxi, 1 Nibiru, 1 Griffin Rider, 2 Water Enchantress, 2 Call by the Grave, 1 Crossroad Designator, 1 Dracoback, 1 Faithful Adventure, 1 Foolish Bro, the 1 Battle Ocean. Still only playing 1 Battle Ocean, by the way, and we're still getting away with it. 2 Dive, 2 Desires, 2 Rite of Armesier, triple Imperm, and 1 Waves. Down here in the extract, we have 1 Transcode Talker, 1 Splash Mage, 2 copies of the Sea Angel, 1 Marbled Rock, 1 Bubble Reef, 1 Coral Triangle, 2 Coral Anemone, 2 copies of the Blue Slug, 1 Argonaut, 1 Axis Machine, 1 Totally Awesome, and 1 Bahamut Shark here. Then we have 1 DD Crow, 2 Droll Knockbird, 1 Effect Veiler, 1 Ghost Ogre, 2 Nibiru, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Lightning Storm, 1 Imperial Order, triple copies of Solemn Warning, and 1 copy of Andy's Emptiness here, wrapping up this chunk of deck profiles for you guys. So what do you guys think about these lists? Is there anything interesting from here that you kind of want to mess around with? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Make sure you guys smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. I will see your beautiful faces back here later on the day with some more cool awesome content. You guys stay safe out there, all right? Peace out. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.